December 4, 1995 in Medford, Oregon, USA. Roxanne Ellis and Michelle Abdill were a lesbian couple who has been together for 12 years. Roxanne Ellis, who is aged 53 years, and Michelle Abdill, aged 42 years. In 1990, there was an increased homophobia in Colorado where the couple lived. A time came when the homophobia was unbearable to them. Michelle Abdill and Roxanne Ellis moved from Colorado Springs in Colorado to Medford in Oregon. The couple met in Colorado, where Ellis was divorced with 2 children and worked as an obstetrics nurse. Abdill got a job in the same doctor's office, and they eventually became life partners. The couple started a successful property management business and were elected to the board of their church. They spent their spare time restoring their old craftsman-style house and visiting Ellis's 3-year-old granddaughter. They also worked as activists, fighting 2 Oregon state ballot initiatives in 1992 and 1993, where Measure 9 is intending to amend the state constitution to declare homosexuality abnormal, wrong, but unnatural and perverse, and also intending to restrict library access and materials related to homosexuality. On December 4, 1995, Ellis went for an appointment with 27-year-old Robert Ackerman to show him an apartment in which Robert Ackerman had booked an appointment earlier that day. Ellis, who allegedly called her daughter Lori at 4 p.m. to tell her she was going shopping. During the day, while Abdill was in the office, she received a call from Ellis asking for help to start her car, in which she left the office. At 5 p.m., to help Ellis jump-start her car after receiving a call that the car would not start. Later, Ellis's daughter drove over to the apartment complex where her mother was going to show the apartment and saw her mother's pickup. She said it pulled away from her when she tried to follow it. Ellis and Abdill were not seen again until their bodies were discovered 4 days later in the back of Ellis's pickup truck after a cable TV worker reported the vehicle to police. When Ellis' daughter arrived at the complex, she and Abdill's brother Dan Abdill spotted Abdill's unlocked vehicle at the scene, with her purse in plain view, which prompted them to call the police. Both women had been bound and gagged and shot in the head. The bodies were wrapped in drapes and covered by cardboard boxes. The discovery of the bodies caused concern in the local gay community. The couple's activism on gay rights issues and records of an earlier threat against them roused suspicion that they had fallen victim to a hate crime. The National Gay and Lesbian Task Force wrote to Attorney General Janet Reno to request that the United States Department of Justice assist local authorities in their investigation. The nature of the crime and the couple's activism led to widespread publicity about the case. Police publicized a composite sketch of the suspect based on a description of a witness who had seen a man who looks like Ackerman parked Ellis's truck and walk away and went into hiding. The media coverage of the murders reached Ackerman's mother, who had moved to Medford 3 weeks earlier with her son. Believing her son had committed the murders, she called a police tip line and told police of her suspicion, based on her son's behavior and his resemblance to the composite sketch. She also showed police the labels of cardboard boxes used during her move to Medford with Ackerman. Police matched the address labels to those on the boxes used to cover the women's bodies. Police contacted California authorities and found that Ackerman was under investigation there for the October 3rd disappearance of one of his friends. He was tracked down to a Stockton motel room and arrested on December 13, 1995. Upon arrest, Ackerman confessed to the Ellis and Abdill murders, claiming that his motive was robbery. According to Ackerman, after they refused his demand to write checks made out to him from their business account, he shot both women in the back of the head execution style, having bound and gagged them with duct tape and forced them to lie down in the back of Ellis's pickup truck. Ackerman also confessed to killing Scott George of Visalia, California, on October 3, 1995, and dumping his body down a mine shaft located outside his father's ranch near Stockton. On December 18, 1995, after Ackerman told his father where he had disposed of the body, police discovered George's remains at the bottom of an abandoned mine shaft in Calaveras County, California. Ackerman served in the Air Force and earned a master's degree in business administration from San Francisco's Golden Gate University in half the time usually required. Later, he worked as a district operations manager at Roadway Trucking in Los Angeles. Ackerman left his job at Roadway Trucking to start his own software business. He became frustrated by the failure of his software company and his own failure to find a job and achieve financial security. His money frustrations were compounded by depression when he was rejected by a Las Vegas stripper named Alla Kosova, whom he considered to be his girlfriend, because he did not have enough money to visit her. Ackerman's statements about his motive have shifted over time. He has said that his intention was to rob Ellis and Abdill to get enough money to win back Kosova. However, the district attorney in the case noted that some of the evidence undermines robbery as the only motive, as Ackerman left the victims' purses, wallets, jewelry, cell phones, and money at the scene. In August 1996, Ackerman wrote a letter to his hometown newspaper, the Stockton Record, stating that he had intended to rob Ellis and Abdill, and that knowing they were lesbians made it easier to kill them. He also wrote that he had killed Scott George, who was reportedly bisexual, because he had made a pass at him. Ackerman said he had no problem with bisexual women, but had no compassion for lesbians, bisexual or gay men. Ackerman knew the women were lesbians. He had previous contact with Ellis 2 weeks before the murders, when he had been shown the same apartment where he met Ellis on December 4th, 1995, where he had asked Ellis, the victim with whom he spent the most time with, if they were lesbians, and she said they were. Ackerman was taken to trial in 2007. The 33-year-old Kosova, an immigrant from Russia, testified that she had indeed cut off their relationship, which began in April 1995 when she was 20 to 21 years old, in August of the same year. She confirmed that they had a relationship, but said that it was purely financial in nature as far as she was concerned. She said Ackerman resurfaced again when he returned to Las Vegas after the murders of Ellis and Abdill, where he spent $5,000 from the sale of his car. After taking her to dinner on December 10th, Kosova said Ackerman pulled out a gun and a stun gun as they sat in her truck and told her he had killed 3 people too, just that week. He unscrewed the silencer on the gun and showed her the blood inside. Later, Kosova told a police officer, a regular customer at the club, what Ackerman told her about the murders, but said he didn't take her seriously. Upon his arrest, Ackerman declared that he wished to be executed by lethal injection. A month later, he entered a not guilty plea, and his lawyers filed motions to overturn Oregon's death penalty. On September 11, 1996, Ackerman pleaded guilty to the murders of Ellis and Abdill. On October 27, 1997, an Oregon jury sentenced Ackerman to death by lethal injection for the murders of Roxanne Ellis and Michelle Abdill. In February 2011, an Oregon court declared Ackerman so delusional that he could not assist in his death sentence appeal, and his sentence was reduced to life without parole. He died of natural causes in prison on October 16, 2018. He also faced a death sentence in California for killing Scott George.